Hi Coline,
Ciao, come stai?
bene, bene. E tu?
Ça va, ça va
Ça
aller.
va.
Euh, je suis à Toulouse, donc c'est un peu compliqué le contexte, mais
Ah, tu n'es pas en Bordeaux?
je peux avoir C'est bon, j'ai un
J'ai
texte.
invité des personnes.
T'as bien fait.
Oui, oui,
J'espère.
qu'il vient.
Parfait. Euh, je...
Nous espérons quelques minutes.
Oui, oui, tout à fait, tout à fait.
Ok.
J'ai préparé une présentation rapide, hein, je pense environ 1 heure, grand maximum, de façon à ce qu'on puisse
C'est
éventuellement
une
poser
heure.
des questions, etc.
Ok.
Euh, je te demanderai d'autres choses pour le congrès de Paris. Je suis en contact avec un doctorant qui travaille sur la growth zinc. Simplement, on voulait savoir jusqu'à quand on a le droit de déposer le- l'abstract.
Oui, je ne
Et
l'avais vu.
ouais,
Euh, ok, non me li hanno ancora mandati.
ok,
Non
très
me
bien.
li hanno ancora mandati, cioè aspettano tutte le raccolte e poi me li mandano.
Ok.
Però spero che
Buongiorno.
sì.
Ciao,
Ciao.
buongiorno. Donc c'est en cours, ça aussi.
Sì.
Ah. Oh, on parle français, très bien.
Non, 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 non. I will speak in English, but
Ok, ok, ok,
I'm
ok.
just I'm just saying a few words to Simona, but my presentation will be in English.
Gianfranco
C'est bon pour
I
moi.
can't do it in. I can't
Parce
do
que,
it.
Gianfranco is in France.
oui, oui, parce que je suis à Limoges maintenant.
Ah, très bien. Ah
Oui,
ben,
très bien, oui.
je vais à Limoges je vais à Limoges le mois prochain, dans un mois pile.
Le mois prochain, oh!
Ouais, voilà.
Vous pouvez visiter, oui, oui. Alors, j'enseigne histoire ancienne ici.
Ah, très bien. Eh bien, je viens pour une soutenance de thèse le,
Ah,
le 15 mars. Donc,
le 15 mars. Oh.
Ah,
Ah, très bien.
rencontre.
Oui, euh,
vous enseignez quoi?
oui. Histoire ancienne.
Très bien.
Also, histoire grecque, histoire romaine, parce qu'il s'agit d'une
Ok.
exception ici. Il y a une position d'histoire ancienne et je suis le titulaire de cette position. Oui. Oui, très bien, mais on peut parler anglais.
Non, j'allais le faire en anglais. I will speak in English. It would be better.
Okay, don't worry, of course.
I have to practice because I have to come
Yes, it's
in
practice.
June, a whole weeks, and I have a whole week, and I have to improve.
And you're speaking from Bordeaux?
Alors, currently I'm in Toulouse in southern France for
Oh,
personal reasons,
Toulouse.
but I'm in Bordeaux currently. My colleague is here,
Yes, yes.
and
That's because I spent a beautiful time in Bordeaux. I love.
that's nice. Well, if you come,
It's very, very
well, don't
nice
hesitate
city.
to contact me
Town.
before, and I will be very
Mm.
happy to meet with you.
Mhm.
Yes, the project I'm leading is based on in Bordeaux, but we are, as I will explain later, people from everywhere.
Mhm.
Well,
Yes.
for different reasons, I'm in Toulouse, but I will be in Bordeaux anytime if you want.
Yes, yes.
We'll meet.
That's because Bordeaux is very, very important in France for typographic research, etc. Yes, I had the privilege to work together with Corinne Bonnet
Tout à fait.
in Toulouse.
In
Yes.
Toulouse, yes, yes. Bordeaux is also famous for digital humanities.
Digital
Yeah.
humanities. Yes,
And
yes.
Corinne Bonnet is still working, I think, in Toulouse, but I'm not quite sure.
No, 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 no. Currently, she's in
Ah,
Italy and
that's it.
parce que
L'école
she
normale,
go.
À
Yes.
l'école normale de Pise, très bien, très bien.
scuola normale in
Scuola
Italia.
normale.
Normale, sì. A beautiful place.
Yeah, of course, it's a beautiful place. Yeah.
So I think the presentation is registered. I will share my screen just now to see if you can see everyone can see my screen.
Yeah.
Ça serait mieux quand même. Ceci. Voilà. Can you see this?
See.
Is it okay?
I would like to tell 2 words for the public, which will follow the event on other media on the YouTube channel of so the event will be transmitted, will be uploaded in the YouTube channel of the Ausonius page in the
Yes.
CNRS.
So it's recorded on my laptop, and then I will share it in
Yes,
the
okay.
Channel.
Just a couple of words, because this event is within the X-Formal project, which is informal and non-formal learning for cultural heritage. And it is a Marie Curie action, research and innovation staff exchange, which has been funded since 2021 to 2025. Specifically, we are dealing with a work package, which is sharing knowledge and best practices, where all the partners of the project, you can see all the structure in the xformal.eu page of the project, and all the partners exchange and share their knowledge towards the other partners. So we're very glad to invite Coline Ruiz Darasse to speak about this wonderful project, digitization of the RIIG, Recueil des Inscriptions Gauloises. We are very interested because we all work with epigraphic database, at least me, and therefore, so please, Coline, the floor is yours. Thank you again.
Thank you everyone. Hi, so I'm Coline Ruiz Darasse. I'm leading since 2020 an ANR project, which is l'Agence Nationale de la Recherche project. It's a French project called RIIG, Recueil Informatisé des Inscriptions Gauloises. It's a project that takes its name from the RIIG, le Recueil des Inscriptions Gauloises. It's a project that aims to put online the Gaulish epigraphical data currently available, and it's an online edition and also a contextualization of the data, of the inscription, mainly the lapidary inscription. I will explain in a few moments why, that are on the French territory. And this project is already it's nearly finishing. In just at the summer it will be over. But we are working on this topic since 2020, and you can go to the platform, so the website of the project, and it's all online since September 2022. For this project, I'm not alone at all. We have many researchers with me. As I said, it's a big project, and it's dealing with many. It's transdisciplinary, but not it's not a way of saying. It's really interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary. And we are working with archaeologists, numismatics, linguistic people, digital humanities, of course, and some people also from sociolinguistic. As you can see on the slide, people are coming from everywhere, and it's really important for me to work with people from Belgium, from Spain, from Ireland, from Germany, because evidently, they are very good people, and also they are the specialists, and they can share like this also academic traditions and way of seeing things. The position of each of one of them are very different sometimes, and the idea is to share the point of view, the knowledge, and the diversity of the hypotheses, all of them available on the website. So in my opinion, it's very important to visualize the scientific exchanges and discussions, especially when we are dealing like this, for instance, for Gaulish inscription with language of fragmentary attestation. So before before showing you how we have made this online edition, I was not quite aware that you will know very well Gaulish epigraphy. So I remind you quickly that what we know about Gaulish inscriptions since years. The corpus of text is about 1,000 written texts that have come down to us. That is to say, nearly 800 inscription on stone, on metal, on ceramics, of course, and various materials. And also you can count around 300 coins that we are not dealing with in our project, obviously. The Gaulish inscription published to date is very easy to understand. We have two main phases of the documentation. First, we have the Gauloises inscriptions that are to be found in actual Provence and also in the Rhône corridor that you can see on the left map of the slide. This is the first attestation of Gaulish language, mainly on stones and ceramics, like you see on the legend and on the caption. And the first attestation is around the 2nd century BC and ends around the conquest of the Gaul and a little later on the Rhône corridor. Then with the conquest of the Gaul and the Romanization of the territory, as you can see on the right map, it's the spread of the Latin alphabet to write the Gaulish language that is attested, and the evidence is now on all the territory and also on various material supports like metal, ceramics, and also a large range of objects, mainly instrumentum. With this documentation, we can stress that Gaulish people and Celtic tribe use various graphic systems to express their language, and this variety is a unique case on the epigraphical corpus, because I said that it was first Greek alphabet that was used, then Latin alphabet also. But in the northern Italy, you can also find some inscription with the Etruscan alphabet, and on some settlement in the surrounding of Béziers, like in Anserune, you can also find a large corpus of Gaulish names in Iberian script, which means that these Celtic people used whatever graphic system they come upon with, and use this for representation of their language, and they adapt it as much as they can. The Gallo-Greek epigraphy, which is the first that is attested, is marked between the 2nd and the 1st century BC by a little less than 100 epitaphs, delivering well-established Gaulish names and also onomastic formulas. So you can see on the right this beautiful inscription, which is in display at the Musée de la Romanité in Nîmes, which is one of the main well-known onomastic formula with an idionym Eskingorex, with the patronym suffixed with eos suffix, Eskingorex, son of Condylos, which is, for the 1st century BC, a very common name. These epitaphs were possible for men, but also for women, and women is very much present in the Gaulish epigraphy. In the right side of the slide, you can see this epitaph from Ventabren, which is a little place nearby Marseille. And this beautiful stone, very carefully carved, is one of the a lady named Wenituta, daughter of Ausonius, which means that she's named with a Celtic name, but with a father who is already with a Latinized name. Gallo-Greek epigraphy is also marked by some dedication, and I couldn't avoid showing you this beautiful dedication to the mother of Nîmes, which is maybe the most beautiful carved inscription with a paleography very neat and very elegant. This dedication is also displayed in the Musée de la Romanité, and shows also the dedicatory formula Dede Bratude Ka, mostly Dede Bratude Cantem, which is one of the formula for dedication that we know. We know very few verbs in Gaulish, and this is one, Dede Bratude Cantem. This is one of the formula that we can be sure of. The rest of the Gallo-Greek epigraphy is mainly instrumentum, and I said that Gaulish Gallo-Greek epigraphy was also attested in the corridor of the Rhône. Here you can see a display of the Gallo-Greek graffiti in Bibracte, which is in Saône-et-Loire. I show it in the map here, which show a large wedge of anthroponyms on ceramics. This is property marks. And as you can see, it's Gallo-Greek with names like Gaia or Bilik, Bilikos or Bilika, which shows for this part of the region a way of marking the common ceramics. You can see it's ceramics for eating, or it's only everyday ceramics. This is not very monumental or ostentatory, but the largest part of the Gaulish epigraphy is instrumentum. Then, like I said, we can date the shift between Gallo-Greek epigraphy and the use of Latin alphabet to write Gaulish language around the 1st century BC, 1st century AD, and then Gallo-Latin epigraphy, as we called it, is also marked with dedication. And it's quite similar as far as funerary inscription and dedication are concerned, but we have very few inscription on stones. I show you this one, which is very spectacular because it's a menhir, it's a raised stone near Poitiers, on the région Nouvelle-Aquitaine, and it's a dedication of the limit of a city, which is still standing in the field. You can see the field here, and the menhir is still there. You can see also on the image that the picture that the stone is very damaged, and we tried to make some treatment with 3D 3D treatment and 3D picture in order to have the text itself on display. So we are not. I'm not going to make you all the story of Gaulish language, of course, but a little things to know if you want to launch yourself in Gaulish history, in Gaulish language history. In the beginning of the 20th century, we were with a little book which was written in the 1920, just after the First World War. And it was named La Langue Gauloise by Georges Dautin, which was a little book mainly showing 64 inscriptions known by then. And it was the first attempt to make a grammar and a glossary and an edition of all the well-known texts known at the end of the 19th century. It was also the time when Gaulish was really a popular topic and also a nationalist topic, because it was the character of the Gaul were used by Napoleon III and the Third Republic to raise spirits in front of the Prussian war after the Prussian wars. So it was a little Celtomania during the Second Empire and the Third Republic in France that raise interest for Gaulish inscriptions. Between 1920 and the end of the 20th century, the documentation was way more complex and well-known. And since the mid 20th century until nearly the turning of the millennium, there was an enterprise of publication by Paul-Marie Duval, but also Michel Lejeune, Pierre-Yves Lambert, Georges Pinault, for the inscriptions, and also Jean-Baptiste Colbert de Beaulieu et Brigitte Fischer for the coins. That was a big publishing enterprise published in Gallia, which is a paper, a journal very famous in France, and that published also supplements, and the 45 supplement number 45 is the one devoted to the Recueil des Inscriptions Gauloises, RIIG, which obviously our project takes its name from. So this Recueil des Inscriptions Gauloises was really well built and well worked. It was with a logic of supports of material. The first one was for supports and also writing system. The first volume, published in 1985, was dedicated to Gallo-Greek inscription, either on stones and instrumentum. The second one was devoted to Gallo-Latin stones and Gallo-Etruscan inscriptions, published in 1988. And then we had to wait, I lost my figure, but it was in 2002 that the Gallo inscription on instrumentum were published by Pierre-Yves Lambert, my supervisor for my PhD. And this was the main documents for inscriptions, and two other books were also published, one centered on the calendars, published in 1986, and the collection of coins published in 1988. So it was a little tricky, because if you wanted to have all the documentation itself, you have to know either the support or the function of the text, or also the type of writing that was used. Also, because it was published published on paper documentation. It has been completed by many other papers, mainly in Études celtiques. So you have some complements in 1988, nearly 2 years each, 1988, 1990, etc. And all this documentation is available in the end of at the end of the 20th century, which leads to, like I said, around 1,000 inscription, that is to say 100 inscription on various supports, and around 300 coins. But during all this time, also there were some complements written on onomastics, and an attempt to prepare a dictionnaire, le dictionnaire de la langue gauloise, published by Delamarre. There is 3 versions of this edition of this book, and also all the documentation that was published either on composition or on onomastics, or also the renewed version or the upgraded version of La Langue Gauloise, this time by Pierre-Yves Lambert, which was nearly, comment on dit, a bestseller, because it was also published 3 times at the Collection Errance, and which is really a very, very good book for beginners, and mainly the most complete now documentation. As I said also, since the publication of the RIIG, of the Recueil des Inscriptions Gauloises, our knowledge of Celtic civilization, of Celtic proto-history in France was really, really renewed by all the different excavations that were done on the French territory, and also a mutation on the organization of archaeology in France by preventive archaeology, by also preventive archaeology that was possible at the beginning of the 20s, and the information and conservation of the documentation, and also the publication of the data, either with colloquium or encounters and workshops, etc., that led to a total revolution of our knowledge on Celtic civilization, of which the RIIG and the RIIG obviously are a little part of. So what we have done, and what I will show you now, is a compendium and an online presentation of a Gaulish inscription, digitized, and because of the time that we have only 4 years, and we can do everything in 4 years, we decide to focus on lapidary inscriptions, that is to say Gallo-Greek stones, Gallo-Latin inscription on stones, and we decided also to update the data of the Gallo-Greek volume, that is the RIIG 1. Why? Because the main part of the RIIG 1 was Gaulish inscriptions on stones, and in some settlements and museums, we went there to see the stones, and obviously we updated also the instrumentum inscriptions. So in the current website of the RIIG, you don't have all the RIIG for the moment, obviously, but we have collected all the inscription on stones, and also some inscription on ceramics of the RIIG. That is to say that all the Gallo-Greek corpus is up to date. And we have to wait and to search for another funding to treat all the instrumentum in Gallo-Latin script, in Gallo-Latin epigraphy, in the second moment of our research. Why? Because dealing with instrumentum topics is very, very tricky. And also because we have to open all the boxes of all the museum of everywhere in France to see if we found the documentation in Gallo-Latin epigraphy on objects of the common life. And that is a huge work to do. And we couldn't do it obviously in 4 years. So it was a way of beginning research that would lead to other projects, I hope, with many other people. So if you want to go on the RIIG platform, you will find 431 records that are all the Gallo-Greek documentation, Gallo-Latin inscription on stones, and the one from the complements, from Etudes Celtic, and also one document which was in the RIIG 22, that was a document from in pardon, dans l'Indre, et ça s'appelle, ça me reviendra, bref.
Si je peux aider.
Argenton-sur-Creuse, voilà, Argenton-sur-Creuse. Voilà. So I will try to explain how we dealt with the documentation. It was very simple at the beginning. We had this RIIG on paper with a document in PDF, and we tried to take every information that was in it, and we treat them with XML balise. That is to say that in the document you have here, the text in black is the text from the RIIG from Michel Lejeune, en l'occurrence, and all the thing in color are the enriched documentation that we could add. That is to say that we try to think to every kind of question that we can ask this document to be able to research and to request them in the next part of the work. So what is XML? XML is a way of encoding text, and in this framework, we are dealing with TEI, which is a coding that is applied to texts and documents. And inside this TEI initiative, the Text Encoding Initiative, TEI, we deal with the coding of epigraphical texts that is called EpiDoc, which is a very open and very comment dire ça? Adaptative encoding, and we are inside the idea of open research and open source and open science research, and dealing also with the principle of the FAIR principle, that is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. And this is very important for us because we are trying to make an encoding that will be useful for any kind of other project that will I hope come from this one, but also that we can share our work with very much transparency and very much open mind methodology to be aligned with other data bank and also other projects. When I say this, that's not really just words. That's really important for us because, for instance, Gaulish was prepared with the PETRAE program, le programme d'enregistrement, traitement et reconnaissance automatique en épigraphie that was born in Ausonius, my current laboratory in France, in Bordeaux. And the idea was to be aligned with other projects, for instance, the Lexicon Lempotincum, which is led by David Stifter and Corinna Salomon for the Cisalpine Celtic, which is a wiki site, but with some it's the main idea of open science research, and also with the colleagues of Esparia in Spain for the Celtiberian corpora of the third continental Celtic corpus. All this work is comment dire, is a way of thinking open science and to share our knowledge to our communities. We deal with open source software, and we are comment dire ça? All our work is deposited on the infrastructure called Humanum in French, which is the Digital Humanities Consortium paid by the states. Another topic that was really important for us and for the Gaulish epigraphy was to share some ontologies, that is to say some definitions, some elements that could be reused very carefully and very openly with the others data bank. That is to say that we are trying to align our definitions, our division of period of time and of typology with many thesauri, online thesauri or gazetteers that exist everywhere on the net. For places we use Trismegistus and geonames. For typology, we use all the data from the Eagle project and also from the DICOCER, which is a French project of the CNRS on ceramics. For the context, we are dealing with the thesauri from Pactols, from OpenTeso. And for the time, which was a really, really tricky part of our work, we decided to align with some thesaurus called Periodo, which was useful for us to be sure that every kind of period was aligned with other projects. So that's not really a visible part of the work, but it's very, very difficult and complex work to do. Also because it was a way of thinking differently our corpus in Gaulish language and to adapt and to propose to all these thesauri the documentation in Gaulish, which was an enrichment for them too. As I said, it was for the 40 years since the publication of the RIIG. It was really it was a revolution of the documentation and the archaeological level. And it was very important for me and for the team to be able to contextualize all this documentation, which was present in the RIIG, but with the renewing of the knowledge of the context, it was very important to propose some more contextualization. So we decided to use comment dire, to use some things that was prepared in another ERC project in our lab, which was called Patrimonium. It's a module for archaeological information that was implemented in the RIIG. And it was a way of presenting the documentation with the all inscription of the site, a short description of the site, and also obviously bibliography, etc. But we propose also something that I called paysage épigraphique, which is this line, and it's a way of comment dire, of showing how Gaulish epigraphy is part of a bigger picture. And we use for this our collaboration with the Latin Now ERC project led by Alex Mullen in Nottingham, which is now over, I think. And it's a way of replacing Gaulish inscription in a bigger picture with Gaulish inscription, Latin inscription, Greek inscription when it's possible. And it's a way of showing how Gaulish inscription is working with all inscription on the same archaeological site. The bigger part of our project, it's an online edition on which I will try to show you some of the main parts, and we tried to be obviously the most accurate and the most precise on our documentation, but also we wanted to show how for fragmentary attested languages and epigraphy, the various hypotheses of each one of the researchers are possible and are available, and that you can have many different readings of the same inscription. That is not really the case on other corpora. Obviously, in Latin, the traduction, the translation, or the reading is nearly unique. For Gaulish inscription, you can propose various readings, different readings, and we try to show for the people who are interested, obviously, that all these readings are argumented, and we share our knowledge like this. That is to say, each one of the reading as the people, the researcher who proposed the reading, for instance, Lejeune, Emmanuel Duprat, Stokes, and Torneisen. Here you have the certainty of the reading. That is to say that Torneisen has proposed a reading that is mainly certain, and Ruiz has proposed a reading that is less certain, but that can be possible. And as it can be possible, we show what distinction was made in the reading for Torneisen or for Ruiz, and by highlighting some of the some parts of the documentation, we can see quickly why this one is a nominative or a theonym in dative, etc., and some variation between one and another reading. That is to say, we have really very precise in our readings, and each one of the readings has obviously his apparatus and comments. You can have all the comments belonging to this reading if you go to the tag that is related to this reading and not to all the readings, for instance. That is to say that you can choose which reading you want to deal with, and to have all the description and the comments about this reading. And you can also choose a reading that is not really possible, but not really certain, but possible. But it's your choice to choose this one and to deal with this possibility. It's open, and you can think what you want to think, obviously. I show you this one. It's the Martialis dedication in Alice Sainte-Reine. It's the inscription for which we have the most different readings with subtleties and difference in the analysis. What we have done also inside the edition was to prepare some elements to make indexes and grammatical documentation. That is to say, for each one of the elements that we have in the inscription, to precise what is the case, what is the gender, if it's singular or plurial, and what kind of type of lexeme we have. And if we are not very sure, when no precision is possible, we don't make any comment. And if it's possible to add it, we precise it, and we prepare as this like this indexes and grammatica documentation. We also try to indicate when type and subtype of lexical element we can see. That is to say that we are not possible for, like in Petrae or for les Zilla or things like this, to have a dictionary of Gaulish inscriptions, but we make some tracks for lexical elements because we can see some des champs lexicaux, that's to say groups of semantic that are possible to unify, and in the end, we maybe will be able to precise this. For the subtypes and for the analysis of this, we also use some links with obviously the lexicon Leponticum, because as it's called a lexicon, it's a dictionary and a lexicon. So we use all the URI of the lexicon Leponticum when possible in the RIIG, to be able to have in the same place links between the three continental Celtic documentation, and obviously it will be ameliorated in the next years. One of the work that we want to do now is also to prepare some paleography of the inscriptions. That is to say, be able to update the table that are available at the end of the RIIG with the tracing of the letters, and that are already available on some inscriptions in the RIIG when you tick the case glyph. And I want to prepare now and until the end of the year the paleography of stone inscription by using all the documentation and all the images in 3D treatment that we have to be able to try to propose a paleography of the inscriptions, of the tracing of the letters that could be a way of showing writing schools, lapidary schools, or way of regional scripts maybe, but the documentation is so scarce that I'm not quite sure it will be possible. But anyway, we have some hands that could be that could emerge from this documentation. For instance, the documentation from le Musée de la Romanité in Nîmes, the beautiful dedication that I show you at the beginning, which is obviously a work of a lapidary worker with a very high level of skill. So you can go and enjoy this website as much as you can, and find obviously some mistakes or some bugs that you can tell me what was wrong or how good it was. I don't know. You can write to me anytime, and if you want to share how your thoughts or your ideas, is obviously the idea, because what we wanted to do by digitizing the RIIG was to open this documentation and to make it available for the general public, and the different readings are available for everyone. That is to say, if you are not a grammarian, you can also see by the highlighting of the words which part of the inscription we are dealing with, and which comments you can have on this very part of the text. And the idea is to focus on the traceability of information and also the sustainability of the data. By using Epidoc, we are in the FAIR principle, and this is very important because all the work that we are doing now is, I hope, will be useful for the next steps, and also reusable in any kind of other project, and that's why we are really aware of the traceability of the information, who has said this, why, when, etc. And it's a very very slow work, but we try to verify everything before putting it online. So it was a very quick overview, and obviously the work is not over now, but I think you can already see what we have done on the website. You can see also all the guidelines we used, and we tried to make it very clear. Our methodology is open, so you can use it and reuse it as much as you can. That is to say, we try to be the most honest, the most clear with our documentation, and trying to be the most transparent. So if you have some comments or feedbacks, I would be very happy to read them, and please don't hesitate to contact me or the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Coline, for your presentation. It was very interesting. I've learned a lot, And I attended a conference about your lecture about this project some years ago now, and I see the implementation, the heavy implementation. So there's a huge work in this project, and my compliments. I appreciate it specifically also, for example, contextualization. This is a very important thing that not always is included in projects like this. And the FAIR principle is a very important one, and we are working also in our ex-formal project under this project. I have two small questions before I leave, if I can. I leave the floor to the other colleagues if they have some. We have also thought about the possibility to switch to EpiDoc, for example, for the Messapic language and other fragmentary languages. It is not so easy to use EpiDoc, as you know, and you need to be trained. Yeah. And we are in the border, and we are asking, is so open if we have to be trained? It is not so intuitive, and so I know many persons that have attended training about EpiDoc. There was a question, and also I have seen a small. I have a request about the way you have realized in the text the ligatures, the nexus with the small parentheses, and I ask if it is linked to EpiDoc or if it is something else that I didn't, because we have always this problem to write in the text the ligatures. And I think that's all. That's all my questions. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Simona. Well, EpiDoc is the language. It's the kind of language. So you have to learn a little bit at the beginning, and training is obviously the inevitable. But it's a new language. So I learned Gaulish as well as EpiDoc, and it's a way of presenting things. And I think this encoding is really adaptative. So I think it's really a good way of dealing with this inscription. Obviously, the first steps are really difficult, and I have the chance that in Ausonius we have this history of preparing epigraphical data with EpiDoc, because the Petrae program was built in Ausonius, and then EpiDoc used the principles of Petrae for preparing the schema of the EpiDoc. But it's like everything. You have to train yourself, and I think it's really useful. And it's like gym. You practice, and then it will be easier and easier as much as you do it. But for the ligatures, you have to separate what is in your XML files, which is really EpiDoc files and XML files, and then the rendering that you have on the screen. That is to say that there is a little step between them. So you are with the hardcore XML things in your Oxygen documentation. That is a software that is a way of preparing the XML documentation. But there is a second part of the work, which is prepared by my colleague Nathalie Prévost, which is in Ausonius, and it's development, and you use it with ExistDB. That is a software, and that is programming. So you have this XML files, very brut, very concrete, and then you have the rendering on the screen. And for instance, the showing of the brackets, the little things for ligature, is a decision that has been made for the ligature inside Petrae. Okay, so we have a way of encoding that is the ligature, that is RS type ligature, voilà. And then the machine, because it's machine learning and it's machine thinking, voilà, the machine knows that when this element in the XML, we choose to present it with these little brackets, or when we decided to highlight all the nominative in blue, for instance, that is an information that we give the machine to be to present all our data of the XML directly on the website with this this highlighting in blue, for instance. So it's two parts, and I can teach you, I can train you on XML more or less with 4 years of everyday XML. I can show you. Pour Gaulish, pour Homo sapiens, je sais pas. But the second part, you have to be with engineer and data scientists that are really the one that make the final step, if you want, and the rendering on screen.
Yes.
No, this part, I don't know how to do it, really, I must admit, but engineers are so good here that we can ask them exactly what we want. And they are very keen on trying new things, because the good part of digital humanities is that it's always renewing itself. So
in progress,
really,
yes.
well, it's always in progress. So it's a little thrilling, because we try some things, or we are asking to have some new features, and they say, well, it's not currently possible, but we are trying to do something.
We're working on it.
Yeah, that's really good. And the other part is that that was really interesting. I forgot to say this, but for instance, for Latin or Greek, things are really clear. You know when we have a genitive, you know when, and it's a genitive in E, and it's always the same, and that's it. But for a language like Gaulish, it's a little more confused and blurry, and sometimes for some inscriptions, the same texts could be understood either in Gaulish or in Latin. And you can't decide if it's Gaulish or Latin, because a genitive in E is possible also in Gaulish and also in Latin. And you can decide yourself if it's Latin or Gaulish. And we tried to launch a little confusion in the machine, because my colleague for this part of the work asked me if it was Gaulish or Latin. I had to decide, and I said I can't decide. Because if I decide it's still Gaulish, it's a way of providing that could be Latin. And if I decide it's only Latin, I just Latinized all origin with one word. So it was either one or the other, and it was very funny to add some little uncertainty in the machine. So that's why we decide to use this part of the EpiDoc scheme, that is certainty. There is a level of certainty for everything. Our knowledge of the inscription, our decision on the case, on the meaning, and etc. So EpiDoc is a way of entering by a new door this corpora. It's really, I think it's really useful. And you can...
It is adaptable also to highly fragmentary languages. I mean, they have needs of their own, and you know, also the conventions to transcribe a text written in Etruscan, in Venetic.
That was
the same of Latin and Greek corpora.
That was a first attempt with a fragmentary language. It was a first attempt.
Pioneeristic.
Yes, and I must admit that it was sometimes really complicated, and I think. But I spoke also with Corinna Salomon, for example, or David Stifler for Cisalpine Celtic. They didn't use XML things. They used wiki ecosystem, and it wasn't also for them the best thing. They weren't also with the
there's the problem when you have to transmit a text in the web environment.
Because it's binary, you know, it's
because you don't have the same possibilities you have in the written text.
I think Epidoc is a little more adaptable, and you can, and also with the TI community, you can share doubts and problems with other people, and they are very keen on
the community. Yes,
voilà. That's really nice. That's really great. Voilà.
Gianfranco, do you have some questions? Federica, Fanizzi, I don't know if someone has some questions. Federica, please, we can see you. Okay.
Oh, can you hear me or?
Yes, that's it.
Yes, very well.
Good evening. First of all, thank you for your talk. And I wanted to ask, I got curious about the archaeologists that you showed. And I wanted to ask you if which is the link between archaeologists and the project? I mean, if you first used other geographical information systems and then uploaded the things on the archaeologists, or
I didn't upload things on archaeologists. I used some of the information that they gave, and mostly on ArchaeOpen I use all the it was a reflection about a period of time. Because we had a very little information of chronology for Gauloises inscriptions. It was a little tricky to propose some datation, so we tried different options. First, we tried to obviously to reduce our les bornes, the beginning and the end of the datation with ceramics, archaeological data, contextualization data. So we have some datation with ciphers. We have 2050 before Christ, or datation like this. Then we try to see if we can reduce our presentation, because it was very complicated. We have some number of every kind of period, so we tried to reduce them with the 2nd century BC, 1st century BC, etc. So we reduced the chronology like this, but it was losing sometimes some information. So we conserved the document, the datation, the precise the datation in the records, and we try to have a list of periods, of large period, to see if we have all the documentation on stone at the 2nd century BC, for instance, etc. And by doing this, we try to be aligned with all the data sets that were available for protohistory, for instance. And by doing this, we decided to, I decided to go and see what was done on other projects, ArchaeOGIS, for instance, Archeopen also, and I saw that the periods were cut by a quarter of century. So in our documentation, we have in the XML thing, but you can see at the screen, but we have this. We have links to each very period that are available on other projects. That is to say, with my inscription is around 50 before Christ. I have the date, the datation, but I also have a link that can be used by the machine in ArchaeoGIS, Archeopen, Trismegistos, and Periodo. Why? Because when the data is moved and used in the other project, this inscription can appear in the research in the other project. So we have many levels of possibilities, either the very precise datation of the object, then this precise but in a wider range of time, and also all the links to the other dataset, thesauri, etc. That can be found, and like this, by the magic of interoperability. When, for instance, in Trismegistos, you will ask any kind of inscription in France of the 2nd century, for instance, all the inscription of the RIIG will are appearing because of this interoperability. But in our website, you can't see only if you open the XML Epidoc documentation. You can download it also, and if you open this visualization, you can see all the links. But in the current presentation, you can't see it, but you have some links to ArcGIS and also to Archeopen and Periodo.
Very clear, thank you.
So this was very interesting for me, because it's also a way of understanding differently the internet and the web, because I can now see how rich the documentation is behind the screen itself. Yes. And how much information you can have and not visible, not
visible. The same was for Select. We have a database of 30,000 more data, but you can see only a part of them. But it is a CSV downloadable for everyone. It is open. It is free.
It's totally free and totally open, and the idea is also to be the most accurate and also the most clear for these links, because it's a way of and that was really interesting for me to imagine how many questions you can ask yourself with one inscription. So be little step ahead and thinking, maybe someday I will want to see every kind of sigma of the every kind of sigma of the Provence at the end of the 1st century BC, for instance. And to have this information, that means that I have to do encoding of tac, 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 tac. Voilà. Every kind of encoding possible, which is a lot of work, but it doesn't matter, because in the end, maybe someday we have sent this information. It will be already ready, and it will be, I hope, great for him or her.
1, 2, 3, 5
it was nice to see
26, 27, ancora 31 e poi 1, 2, 3, 5 e 7, 4, 25, 26, 27.
I don't know. I think someone with an open microphone. You can stop the microphone of the open Okay, I think it was okay.
Sorry.
No, another thing I appreciated that this was a French-funded, national French-funded project, isn't it?
Yes.
But it had the same elements, the same requisites of the EU-funded project. So this, for example, is fair logic and the fact that this must be open, accessible. I mean, the language, even in national funded projects, has been expanded, so to say, is wider. The language in which the project must be made, the rules of usability, of open access, and so on. This is a very nice thing, and I think it's a common language has been developed in the last years, even in national funded projects, not only in the EU projects, I mean.
We tried to, it was a tricky part, also the language in which the RIIG was produced. Obviously, the main part is in French, but some comments are in English, some comments are in Spanish, some comments are also in German, because all partners were making comments in their own language, and to be the most accurate and precise in their analysis, proposed to them to let their text in their mother tongue. I presume that it will be a problem for some people, but now I think that there are so many ways of translating things that if someone wants
to translate it
to see exactly what, I don't know, Dagmar Rodko wants to say about this
part. No problem in translation anymore.
And I wanted to let it like this, because the idea was also to show also how research was done, and also the collaboration itself between researchers. Obviously, it's not very useful when you are random people and you find a part of the documentation that you can't really understand or read. But I think that when you are I don't know, interested in and at this level of information, you can use the part that is you can translate by your own, or with, I don't know, DeepL, Google Trad, I don't know what, but you can have this information the most precise as possible. So it was complicated because to the presentation, the guidelines, and some information are also available in English, but not all the records, because it wasn't possible. It wasn't possible, and it wasn't the idea also. So yes.
But I mean, people who work in this field have all of them have a certain degree of knowledge of the other languages, European languages. Otherwise, you don't work in this field. I mean, you must have a little bit English, French, German, Spanish, Polish. Unfortunately, not too difficult.
I won't translate it in Polish. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the.
I'm organizing. I'm trying to learn it.
It won't be possible. I'm sorry.
It's difficult, but a Polish colleague taught me how to use the Google Translator with Google Lens. I don't want to make some publicity so advertising to, but it is easy also somehow to understand Polish. Okay, I think so thank you so much. You have really, it was a very, very good, very nice presentation and very rich. And thank you so much, Coline.
Thank you all.
If someone has
some question, you can also write to me, and I will be very pleased to answer. And if you see things that are wrong on the RIIG or not clear, or well, mistakes. There is also always mistakes. Please don't hesitate in contacting me, because it's really a work in progress and a collaborative thing. So,
Yes.
so don't hesitate.
Collaborative. Okay. Okay.
Voilà. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Many
much
thanks for your
for
talk,
joining us.
really.
And
Very,
Thank
very
you very much.
informative and very rich.
Merci
Bye.
beaucoup. Bonne soirée.
Bonne soirée.
you
Bonne
soon.
soirée.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye.